Greetings, friends. Rudix here with another episode of Is This Game Scary? This week I'll be talking about another game in the Dark Pictures Anthology, Little Hope. Friendly word of warning that, as always, this video may or may not possibly contain spoilers about the game, and if you haven't played it yet, then you've been warned. This game kind of reminded me of some kind of M. Night Shyamalan movie, because you just say the dumbest thing you can think of as soon as the movie starts, and that ends up being the major plot twist at the end. This started off kind of crazy in the intro, and definitely started off better than the previous entry in the Dark Pictures Anthology, Man of Medan did, but quickly just fell off the mountain and plummeted pretty hard by the end. The characters were all super generic, and the story was just super generic horror movie plot where a group of people don't get along with each other, but have to band together to fight off crazy manifestations, going after each one individually. Like this lady right here, Lou Ellen or Martha or whatever her name is. There were so many times in this game where I was like, damn, this lady is hella annoying, and I hope that if anyone dies, it's going to be her first. All the characters were just really bad stereotypes, and each one of them was incredibly predictable about how they were going to handle any situation. It was almost pathetic. It absolutely didn't do anything remarkable, and I spent most of the game just making bad jokes about what was going to happen next, only to be not surprised when the stupid thing I said happened next. Little Hope did have some redeeming features though. Being a choose-your-own-adventure game, I had to spend a lot of time thinking about my decisions to advance because, unlike Man of Medan, I didn't actually figure out what was going on early on. And despite actually making a joke at near the start of the game about the game's big plot twist, I never really figured it out until it was revealed at the end. So as I went through the game, I wasn't ever really scared of losing anyone in the game, but I was at least determined to try and help everyone survive to the end, which did add a bit to the tension of making decisions constantly. One of the problems with most choose-your-own-adventure games is the fact that the game is always going to advance no matter how good or bad your decisions might be, and you're always going to feel like you made the wrong decision. So while the game never was at all spooky for me, I did constantly feel the pressure of wondering if I made the right decision or not in order to keep the group alive. Which unfortunately meant that if I did lose anyone, I was also probably going to lose all desire to continue forward because the game really wasn't selling me on it for the most part. So for me, it was more a fear of losing my will to even continue on with the game rather than the fear of actually anything pertaining to the story itself. Now, that's not to say that the game didn't have anything in it that wasn't at least kind of spooky. Like, some of the monster designs were really cool, but for me, I'm typically mesmerized by monsters more than I am spooked out by them. There were a few designs in particular that I had to stop everything I was doing just to point out how cool they were. The atmosphere in a lot of sections was set up really well, but also this game was so predictable that it ruined the mood in a lot of situations. The animations and overall cinematography in this were insanely good though. Like, there were a number of scenes where if you were a normal person, you'd probably have been screaming wildly through the entire sequence. But instead for me, I was just talking about how good the camera angles were, or like, how well they alternated between characters, and just kind of that general thing. And much like Man of Medan, this game also seemed like it had a really strong budget, because the animations and overall general quality of things just seemed like high production value. I think with a lot better writing, this game could have actually been pretty decent, but unfortunately it once again just seemed like it was written by some incredibly rich person with no writing experience that saw a few cool horror films and wanted their story brought to life. So on the spook scale, I'll give this game a 3 out of 10. Since it was definitely a bit spookier than Man of Medan, but at the same time, I think a lot of that attributed to the fact that I didn't realize the major plot twists early on, so I think if I had, then it probably would have been maybe a 2 out of 10. Like, it was presented pretty well, but the monster design was pretty cool, so I was more captivated than I was freaked out. Not to mention the fact that it's a choose-your-own-adventure game, and that the journey is going to continue regardless of someone dying or not. So, like, the fear of death and having to redo stuff or whatever just wasn't there as much. And in terms of general game review, I'll give it a 5 out of 10 for being a fairly well-done choose-your-own-adventure game with just a subpar storytelling process. It was a cool premise, but unlike Man of Medan, I have absolutely no desire to go through the game ever again, despite how differently a second playthrough could pan out. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video and would like to look forward to many more spooky game reviews in the future, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in seeing me actually play through a variety of games in real time, make sure you follow my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Rudix. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.